Brown Knoll, Kinder Low, Hope Cross, Win Hill, Loose Hill, Collins Cross, Mam Tor! Good morning from the Peak District. Have a look at this view. I'm out with Dad and morning Dad. We've just set off on the Edale Skyline. We're going to be camping out tonight, so we're going to do, over the next 2 days, do the Edale Skyline route, camp out somewhere along the way, and it's a bit of a training one for the winter Cumbria Way, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So got all our kit, all the winter kit, and I've actually got a new sleeping bag which I want to try out. But this is the start of the walk. You've got Edale down there, and we're going to be basically hiking around all of the tops and finishing back over at Mam Tor. So I look forward to it. It's very cold, the wind chill's pretty chilly, but so far sun's out, it's looking nice. This flagstone path section, which takes you over to Brown Knoll, just feels like it goes on forever. And we're in the Clag now. It's amazing how you can go from being up above it, having incredible views, and then once you're down in it, not so good. But I reckon we'll be in and out of it all day. We should get to this first trig soon. First trig point of the day, Brown Knoll. Nice. Should I have a coffee?
Hey, coffee.
Doing your vlogs. Brown Knoll, that's 3.6 miles in, and feels way longer than that. But after this, carry on along the flagstone path up to the next one, which is Kinder Low, which is not quite, but one of the highest points of the Peak District. We're just joining the Pennine Way, heading up to Kinder Low, which is up in the Clag there, but the sky's just there, so if this drops down a little bit, we'll be above it again. Normally you'd have a cracking view down over the Edale Valley, but this one's more training than for view, so I'm not going to grumble too much. At this section here, Edale Skyline continues there, but to get to Kinder Low, you have to nip up there, come back down, and then carry on there, so we're going to do that now. Second trig point of the day, Kinder Low. So Kinder Low, just over 5 miles, and we want to aim for about maybe 12 to 14 today, and then camp up somewhere over the Win Hill area. And there's plenty of flat ground there. There's not a lot of good camp spots around this area, to be fair. So with the light, still almost the shortest day of the year. It was only a couple of days ago, so probably be looking to camp between 3 and 4 o'clock. Something we both wanted to try out is a poncho, because waterproofs just let water in eventually. I've learned that over the years, and so Dad's going to try his out now. Let's see how this goes. It should go over him and over his bag. How's the poncho?
Oh, what a good bit of kit. First time I tried it, it's getting a bit windy. I did one before and the wind was horrific, so it's not too windy. It seems to be doing alright actually.
Yeah, I think if the wind picked up, you'd definitely want to hunker it down a bit, but at least it covers everything. So we've got our normal waterproofs with us, but we wanted to try the ponchos for basically, we live in the UK, so it's always wet, and if it was relentless rain all day, I think with the waterproofs on, I would just chuck the poncho on top of everything. And the main thing is, on a normal day hike, if you get a bit wet, it's fine, because at the end of the day you go home and put everything by the fire. But when you're out for 4, 5, 6 nights, you can't get everything wet. Especially in winter, it'd be a nightmare. So trying different things out to see how it works. So now we're hiking all the way along the top of the Kinder Plateau, and eventually we'll come out at Hope Cross and then Win Hill. But top of this bit is, especially in the clag, is very difficult to navigate, so I'm going to concentrate a little bit, and I'll show you a few of the best parts. Hopefully we get some views at some point, but for now we're just in the fog.
Maybe not so good in wind.
Okay, poncho verdict. Good for heavy rain, but no good in the wind really.
It's windy.
This is a really cool area of all these rock formations, but there are so many tracks going all around them, you could very easily get lost. I always look for this bit, which is like a little stepping stone. It's quite cool. Have a look. And now you're often faced with these deep peat bogs, which you can get really stuck in these, so you want to go around them. This rock looks like, what does it look like? It looks like a pig or something. It's got teeth. What do you think of the views?
Oh, they're magnificent. All I can see is the back of you.
Oh. Over there, up in the clag somewhere, is Mam Tor, where we started. And we've got to keep going all the way around like that. This stretch along the Kinder Plateau is hard going, quite difficult to navigate at times, quite boggy, rocky, and you can really feel the packs on your back. So we just kind of want to get this done before we start losing light, and hopefully on the other end of this we'll be down towards the Hill, so we'll look for somewhere to camp there. We've got about 2 hours of daylight left. So we're just coming past Ringin Roger, and the little town, or little village of Edale is just down in the valley there. We're just saying there's not a lot of wild camping opportunities along here. Like, it's just all heavy, boggy moorland. There's not, well, I haven't even seen one single flat patch of anything decent. So we weren't going to camp here anyway, we're carrying on, but I don't know, I've seen a few videos of people camping on Kinder Scout, and I don't know where. Let me know some location. We've got a bit of view for once. So that there is where we're looking to camp, somewhere along there or in that woodland. You've got Ladybow Reservoir over the back of there. We brought plenty of water with us, but these are your water sources on this sort of trail. Nice. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine filtering it, but we've got enough, so we don't need to worry about that. I just had a lovely Cornish pasty. It was Dad's idea. It was a good shout, and we've just hit over 10 miles, so we're doing pretty well. Hey, how was your Cornish pasty?
Oh, mate, delicious.
Delicious.
Lifesaver.
Lifesaver. So I've got all the camping gear this time, and Dad's got a couple of pasties in there and a poncho. Come on, we need to find somewhere to camp. So this is Hope Cross. It's not a trig point, but we'll tap it. Hope Cross. People have camped here, look. It's quite obvious. Just looking for somewhere to camp, but there are a lot of fallen branches around these trees, which puts me off a little bit. When you look up and you see branches hanging on and trees falling, lots of stuff on the floor. I'll have a look at this hill up here. Looks like someone's already camping. That's a little sharp hill. We'll keep looking. We've just come down off the main path a little bit. We've got Win Hill up behind me. I'm just going to look for a little spot to camp that's a little bit out of the way. It's quite nice and sheltered around here as well, so just a little bit slopey. You can just about see Ladybower Reservoir through the trees. I don't think this path gets used very often, so I think we'll find somewhere nice and quiet down here. We found a bit of relatively flat ground, so we've got Win Hill over the top of there, little forest, and we're going to pitch up. It's getting on. What time is it? We've done 15 miles, half 3, so it's going to be dark in 15-20 minutes, about around 4ish. So yeah, I'm just going to pitch here, little tiny spot there. Happy days, ready for some food. It's been quite a tough day, but it's really quiet down here. We're well away from the main path, so it should be sweet. Here we go, tent set up. So this is the Hilleberg Solo Black Label, which is mega overkill for tonight because it's pretty calm, but I just love the feeling of safety that it gives you. It's got three poles crossing over each other, and no joke, no matter how much I push down on that, it barely moves. It's so strong. So if it did whip up a 50-mile-an-hour windstorm tonight, I'd be pretty safe. Dad's got the Durster Nextmid Solid, which is probably what, a third of the weight of this, and a massive tent for the weight. How are we getting on?
Good. Just about to stop blowing your bed up, mate.
Oh, yeah. Massive tent in it for the weight. Huge. We're having a party in there.
3 in here, mate.
3. We just heard a wolf as well. Have you still got wolves here? I'll tell you a story. I don't know if you believe the Peak District Black Panther story and sightings, but I'm pretty sure I saw it in Ladybower area a few years ago at night. Something big and black ran across the path, and it took me a while to figure out what it could have been. I assumed it was a dog, but then I was like, it's the middle of the night, there's no one here. So we'll see if we see it tonight. So the only real change I've made since doing the West Island Way is I've brought my bigger sleeping bag, which is a Rab Neutrino Pro, so it's Pertex and stops the condensation getting into the bag too. Sea to Summit Ether Light Extreme sleeping pad. So that plus that is probably going to be too hot tonight, but I was right in Scotland. I was right on the limit of my Big Agnes sleeping bag. Actually, I was below the limit of it. So for the next few winter hikes, I'm just going to go for my warmest sleeping bag, and then weighs a little bit extra, but I haven't got to worry then, no matter what the temperature gets down to. I think Rab say that the sleep limit on this, it's a Neutrino Pro 900. Sleep limit is like minus 22. I mean, we ain't getting any of that, but I'll as a minimum have a comfy night's sleep, however cold it gets really on any of the hikes. So happy days. Oh, and I've got these little down booty things, down shoes. I needed something really to chuck on my feet, just for during if I needed to get out the tent at night and stuff like that. So yeah, happy days. Good little setup, cosy. It's a cracking little spot, this. Well sheltered from from Win Hill this side, sheltered from the trees there. I actually could do with it getting a little bit more breezy and a little bit colder, otherwise I'm going to get condensation in here. I'm going to be way too hot in this sleeping bag, but this is just a tester, so we'll see how things go. Right, I'm going to get some food. I brought loads of food this morning. I've got chilli and rice. Now, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get any reasonable water, I brought boil in a bag so that I can drink the water that I use to boil these, so it saves on water. Otherwise, normally, I do like these actually. I think I prefer these to the dry meals. It's just tastier, but they're heavy. What I tend to do with these boil in bags is bring the water to a boil It says to boil for 8 minutes, but you really don't need to, it's just a waste of gas. Bring it to a boil for maybe a minute, stick the lid on the top and just let it sit for like 8 to 10 minutes, and it's always hot enough. It's already cooked, so you could eat it cold. Tell you what else I bought, little tuck cheese sandwich. You know when you're in the shop and you see something you haven't had for ages and you think, oh, that sounds great. So it takes up a bit of room in my pack, but I reckon it was worth it. Oh, all broke. Look at the loft on this sleeping bag. So much air. If you didn't know, down works by trapping hot air in amongst all the down, and that keeps you warm, and the hot air usually comes from your body. But if down gets wet, it doesn't work at all. This sleep bag has a little bit of extra protection with a Pertex Quantum outer, but you've got to keep your sleeping bag dry. So condensation, I've got a sponge I can wipe off condensation, and it's in a separate dry bag inside my bag, because if that gets wet, basically it doesn't work. So rated to -22 when it's dry. When it's wet, it's just not going to do anything. So you stay dry. Right, that's got to be ready now. Right. Ooh, that's hot. Get it all down to the bottom. Let's try it, chilli and rice. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so that was boiling for a minute, sat for 8-ish, and that's red hot. So much better than dry meals, you know. I've just changed into my thermal. I'm cooking in here. I'm like a boil in a bag meal. One thing I always try and be really strict on is to have one set of kit for walking in and one set of kit for sleeping in, and I have to change from one to the other at night and in the morning. I can never walk in this, it has to stay dry and stay for night time. So no matter how wet my walking kit gets, I still put it back on in the morning, so that if I got both lots wet, I'd have nothing warm to sleep in at night. So I'd rather put up with the wet clothes while I'm walking and then always have dry clothes at night. In summer you can get away with so much more, in summer's so much easier. I'm learning myself, like it's still a journey for me, but in winter you just have to be really strict with what you do. It's so hot in here. I reckon it's about 5 degrees out there. I need it to go down to about -10. So I'm just checking the temperature difference between outside and inside the tent. At the moment, outside is 5.8 degrees. It's warming up quick straight away. Shut that up. So we're hovering around 12 degrees. So that's a 6 degree, still going up, 6 degrees difference from outside to inside. And I've got the mesh panel open. If I shut that, it'd get even warmer. Should we see what the temperature is in my sleeping bag? Been inside the sleeping bag for a little bit now. Let's see what it's saying. 27.8 degrees. That's basically like being in the Bahamas. That is the power of winter camping gear. Impressive. Morning. One thing you do have to deal with, doesn't seem to matter what, in winter, is condensation. Little spongy cloth type thing's really handy. But the only one that's a bit more of an issue is when you get condensation on your sleeping bag. Because of the material, it doesn't go through, so it's still dry and warm in there, but I've got to basically hold this out in the wind and try and dry it out a little bit before packing up. Condensation is one of the things you just find really difficult to deal with. I think some people try bivvy bags over their sleeping bags, but I've had more condensation inside the bivvy bag doing that So it's alright when you're out for one night because you can hang it up when you get home, but when it's a couple of nights you really have got to try and get it as dry as possible before you pack it away. But little sponge thing is great for definitely getting it off your tent, and that's nice and dry. Alright, let's get a coffee on. Rather than bringing all the coffee sachets, I actually got a tin of the Millicano cappuccino stuff pre-mixed, and then I'll just pour that straight into the cup. And there's probably like a week's worth of coffee in there, so I'll take that on the Cumbria Way with me in a couple of weeks. And yeah, love getting up in the morning and having a nice coffee. I don't know how people camp without a stove. I don't think I could do it. This sleeping bag compresses down pretty small for the size of it. Just got to make sure we get all the air out. Make it into a nice shape that will slot down the front of my bag. Sorted. Down jacket off. This is my merino wool layer for hiking in. This Montane Dart synthetic top for sleeping in because that's so comfy, and then merino wool for hiking. Mid layer, just this Rab hoodie that I've used like probably maybe thousands of miles now. Love it. And then in winter, nice warm fleece on top. Obviously if it was raining I'd chuck my waterproof jacket on. These down shoes that I got, I mean I got them from the Rab outlet for 16 quid, so they're worth it for the warmth, but I haven't used them, so I don't think I'll take them on the Cumbria Way with me because it's a bit of bulk that I don't need. I'll just bring some thermal stuff. Me and Dad are walking the Cumbria Way starting next week, so look out for the video coming after that trip. If you follow me on all the other social media platforms, I'll be posting along the way, and then I'll make a YouTube video afterwards. Give the tent a little wipe down. You have a good sleep?
Well, mate, thank you. Good be task.
The wind's picked up, hasn't it? We had a good sheltered spot though.
I'll tell you what, it was windy at some points, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got that, I thought, bloody hell. It's a good test of the tent, but it was alright, didn't it?
So we're just heading up to the top of Win Hill there. It's quite a nice morning actually. Win Hill. It's windy up here. We were quite lucky in the shade last night camping. Right, we're going to drop down out of the wind. It's absolutely freezing. We're aiming for down into Hope, where there's actually some cafes and stuff, so we're going to get a coffee. And then down into Hope, and then we're up Loose Hill and Mam Tor over there. We've hit about 16 miles so far, and the Edale Skyline's about 21 altogether, so I reckon we've got a good 5 left, but we've got some big hills today. It's really steep and slippy, this bit.
What are you waiting for? Shut it out.
We're just coming down into Hope. It's 8:30 and we're hoping to get a... hopefully we'll get a breakfast or at least a coffee. What do you fancy?
Oh, breakfast and a coffee.
The only thing is we've got to go up Loose Hill after, so I don't want to eat too much and then go straight up there. Well, fingers crossed. There's a shop here, there's a few pubs, there's a cafe. We'll see what we can get. We'll try the Old Hall Hotel. I know they do a cracking breakfast here normally. Is it open? Come on. Oh. Probably not. Closed. Weird. Sign trick does it as open. Yes. There's a shop here as well, which is pretty handy. That breakfast was lovely, but I reckon I'm going to regret it. I ate so much. We've got to go straight up a hill now. But they topped my water up for me. Dad's grabbing a drink, and yeah, up onto Lew's Hill and then over to Mam Tor. Slippy.
I know. It's just open.
Ooh,
I made it.
Ooh.
Only just.
About halfway up, and tasted that breakfast about 3 times since we left. Doesn't look like much of a hill when you're approaching it, but it's a bit of a slog and it's very boggy in places, so yeah, it's tough. But we've only got about 3 more miles to go. That's Win Hill over there where we started this morning. I'm down to Hope, up here, and out to Lew's Hill. A few steps to finish it. Lew's Hill. Now you can actually see the whole Edale Skyline. Mam Tor all the way around the top of there. Up here, down there. So this is classed as the Great Ridge, and we'll go along here past Hollins Cross and then up to the top of Mam Tor, which is the final tree. Sun's out, it's a nice day, chilly in the wind, but it's lovely. We do pretty well for the weather, don't we? Hollins Cross. It's always windy on this ridge. Way to end a hike. So people getting blown over, queues trying to get off Mam Tor, but we're nearly there. It's been pretty awesome. We've made it back to the car. Total distance 22.45 miles. Oh, what a great couple of days. You had a good time?
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. If you like this video, please don't forget to drop us a comment. Let me know if you've got any condensation tips, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.